Hi, good morning. As you've seen from the thumbnail, we are going to be making poppies for Remembrance Sunday. Now, these you can make, you can either for you to wear, or you can sell them for the British Legion's charities, or you could donate them, because I know there's a lot of poppies that are sold, and I know quite often where you go and buy a poppy from a supermarket or something like that, people will be selling handcrafted ones as well, so they might enjoy you donating them for that. Or you might be setting up something yourself to be able to sell them and then donate to the British Legion. Now, for Remembrance Sunday, this originated when World War I finished, so we are looking at the 11th of the 11th, 1918. Now, if you do want a lot more history on this, if it's something you are unfamiliar with, I mean, most of you will be familiar with it, but if you're not, you can pop on the Royal British Legion website. There is history there, there's ways to donate there, explain what they are about, so there's a lot of information there, so it's definitely worth looking at. So I'll pop a link below for that one. Now, the poppy itself was chosen in 1921 as an international sort of symbol for remembering these people that lost their lives. Now, the red one, which most of us see, is for the people, but there is also a purple poppy, which you'll have seen on the picture, and that is to remember the animals. It wasn't just the service people, it was animals as well. There was horses, there was dogs, there was pigeons. Now, my husband gave me the list here. There was camels. I didn't know about the camels, and also mules. And these animals did give their lives as well as the service people. So that is to remember them. So we're going to be making the purple one today, but obviously you can just change your colour so it becomes a red one if you're wanting to make red. But I think more and more people are becoming aware of the animals. I'm just going to have a quick look at my notes. I know I'll have missed something out here. Obviously, if you wear your poppy, it's your way of showing respect, which is really important as well. And obviously the funds. Now, some people might be going, well, yes, it's remembrance, but why the money? The money is to now help ex-service personnel. Now, excuse me, that could be anything from rehabilitation, it could be helping with mental health issues. It is support for them, so it is really important. It is a continuing thing, and again, if you look on the Royal British Legion site about the poppy appeal, etc., it will give you that information, so please have a look at it. So I'm hoping you're going to enjoy making these poppies. And I hope, obviously, it is up to you what you do with them from there, but I would like to think we are going to be making them to sell, to give, just to sort of show our own honour, our Remembrance Sunday. So I'm hoping I've got most of that information out. There's so much information. I didn't want to sort of give you too much because I don't think I could remember it all, but definitely go on the site. It is something quite important. So we're going to get on with our poppy. So I'm going to go top down now, and I'll see you all in a second. So here is our poppy. This is a super quick poppy to make. So if you are selling for charity, it is a fabulous way of doing it. That's why I've done it now, because I know, well, we've only got a few weeks, to be honest, but I'm sure you'll get a few of these out. As you can see, I've added some buttons on this one. I actually think I prefer the big button that I've put on to the little button, but you don't have to add a button at all. Or you could add tiny sort of like beads, you know, to sort of indicate the middle of a poppy, things like that. But this is how they both come out. You can see I've still left a strand of yarn there. That being is, I was considering using the wool to sew on these backs. Now, these backs are quite cheap to get hold of if you need to get them. I think mine will probably eBay somewhere along the line. These are ones with the 3-hole. I thought they were about the right size. For this, you could use a safety pin as long as you stitch it on well, and obviously the person who's having it is aware that it is actually a safety pin. But these are quite nice because they've got proper sort of a proper catch, like a little safety catch, so that's quite handy. So that is going to be going on the back, but these are the poppies. We have a 3.5mm crochet hook, so it's a nice size to use. That was just a spare button because I was going to put it on that one. Then I found this one. I just thought it was nicer. So obviously I have my needle. I have some scissors. Now that's just magnetized to my scissors. They're great, these needle minders, but they do stick on everything. So we'll pop, in fact, I'll put that on there, then I'm not going to lose it, am I? The yarn I'm using is just a double knit yarn. This is actually a Stylecraft, and this one is actually one I got from a charity shop, and it's a new ball of wool. I think it was Cancer Research I got that one from, because they have a little range of yarns, and it's not a bad yarn at all. But again, if you are wanting to do these for charity, I suppose the more you can get in and the less you've had to spend, the better for that. So we're going to be starting with our black yarn first, because the centre of our poppy is black. That's why I say you don't need a button. Button, I think, is just a little bit of extra detail, and you can make them a little bit more individual if they are like that. I mean, if you want to be creative, you could add a leaf, all sorts of different things, but I just thought I'd start with the basic poppy so we could do it. So we're going to do the purple one, because I think I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit easier to see on camera. Looking at this now, the red is actually showing up better than the purple, isn't it? So let's get going. Where are we? Let's start with the end of this. Now I'm going to start the centre of it amigurumi style. So I'm going to start it like I start all my sort of crochet that's that type. So I'm going to start with just 2 chain, and into that first chain I'm actually going to do 8 double crochets. Now I'm just double checking my amounts. That's right, yes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now it does create a little hole in the middle. Don't worry about that. You can pull this tight after, and I don't think it matters anyway. I think it sort of makes a feature, and if your button's going on it, it won't make any difference at all. We're now going to do 2 double crochets into each of these. Don't forget, I'm referring to UK terms, because I know when I say double crochet, it can throw some people, because obviously in the US a double crochet means a different size stitch to it does in here in the UK. So a conversion chart's quite a handy thing to have. I do try and put sort of the basics in, which I will do. In the description I'll put sort of the basic, what a double crochet is compared with a single crochet, for example. And don't forget, I'll pop the link in for the Royal British Legion as well. So now 2 in every single one, so we need 16 stitches. So that is 2 in that one, 2 in number 2, 2 in number 3, 2 in number 4, in number 5, 2 in number 6, number 7, oh, we just got one more, and 2 in number 8. And that is it. We have finished with the black yarn. I'm just going to do a little slip stitch in there just to make it sort of nice and neat for when we add the next bit, so we can get rid of that yarn. That's done. So as you can see, that's nice and quick. I think the only sort of issue you may have is there's a few ends to sew in. I am warning you that there's going to be a few ends, but it is worth it. When you've sewn them in, they look gorgeous. So we have our centre. As I said, that you can just tighten up like that. It's nearly gone. Or you can sort of just stitch something over it. So let's bring in this purple. Now the petals are done one at a time. So as soon as you get one, you'll be able to do the other. So you can start anywhere you want here. So I'm just going to pick up, I'm picking up both pieces there, and I'm going to pull my yarn through. There, I'm going to do a chain, which is just sort of holding it in place really. And then in the stitch below where I've just done that chain, I'm going to do 2 double crochets. So I'm going to have 1, because that chain doesn't count as anything. We have 2. Now we're going to have 2 also in the next 3. So we have a 2 in number 2. We have a 2 in number 3. A 2 in number 4. So we should have 8 stitches there. That is where we should be working on. So this is our first petal. We're now going to actually stop working in rounds. We're going to work in rows, so we're going backwards and forwards. So we're going to do a chain first, then we're going to turn our work over. We'll pull a bit more of that yarn out, and in the first one, which is directly below that chain, so it's right over here, so don't get it sort of over, because I know I did that for ages and you just end up changing the shape of your work. It is literally directly below. So we're going to have a double crochet. Then in the next one, we're going to have a half treble. Now yarn round, remember, half treble, and another half treble. Okay, so we have 2 half trebles there, and now we're going to do 2 trebles in the next one and 2 trebles in the one after that. So treble, another one in the same stitch, and in this next stitch 2 trebles again, 1 and 2. Then we're going to have 1 in the next 2 as half trebles. You see what we're doing, we've just gone back down inside, haven't we? So that's 2 half trebles, and we finish with a double crochet. So you can already see we've got a bit of a shape going. Yeah, so you can see we've got a bit of a petal. So we're going to do a chain again, and then we're going to turn. And directly below, we're going to almost do the same. Slightly different, but almost the same. First of all, we're going to do a double crochet in that first one. And then we're going to do a half treble in each of the next 2. And we're not going to drop that stitch. There we go, I've caught it. And then we're going to be doing 1 treble in each of the next 4 stitches, which were trebles from the previous round. So we have 1, we have 2, we have 3, and we have 4. Now we need 1 half treble in the next 2. Oh, my yarn went a bit funny there. What am I doing? Oh, I nearly did a treble. Half treble again. And a double crochet. And that's it. That is your first petal. So that's why I say, because they're separate petals, you have the ends to sew in, which I accept can be a little bit of a pain, but it only takes a minute, doesn't it? So I'm going to pull that one through. Now, I'm going to just move these out of the way. If you want to sew them in now, might be a good idea because they don't get in your way, but otherwise you can just sort of pull them to one side. And we need to look for the next double crochet in the center piece. I'll pull a bit more yarn out, and we're just going to do the same again. We're going to pull the yarn through, we're going to do a chain, and then directly below we do 2 double crochets, 1 and 2. And then we're going to do 2 double crochets in each of the next 3. This can be a bit of a pain, it's a bit hard to see sometimes, but so that's 2 in our second one. I should have sewn my ends in, shouldn't I? 2 in our third one, 1, 2, and 2 in our fourth one, 1 and 2. And I'm just going to double check that because I think I did so many stitches. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I've got the right amount of stitches. 1 chain and turn it over. We're going to do 1 double crochet directly below. We're going to do 1 half treble in each of the next 2. And then we're going to do 2 trebles in each of the next 2. That's 1. That's 2. In the next one again, 2 trebles, 1 and 2. We need a half treble in the next stitch and a half treble in the next stitch and a double crochet. See how quick they're going to come on, especially when you get used to what the pattern is, you'll just remember it. So we're going to turn, so chain and turn, double crochet directly below. This ball's going to end up rolling off the table. Half treble in the next 2, 1 and 1, and then 1 treble in each of the next 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 2 half trebles, 1, 2, and then 1 double crochet, and you're finished. So we have 2 petals already. So just fasten off, and if you're more organised than me, sew in. Get rid of all these little bits of thread here. Now I'm going to pick up the next. So let's have a look. There's one there. I'm sort of crocheting these in as I go. You don't have to do that. It just makes it a little bit easier when it comes to sewing in. A little bit less to sew in, which is always good. So ignore the fact that I've got those behind there, but I'm just crocheting them in at the same time. So let's pick it up, and we need a chain, then directly below 2 double crochets, 1, 2, and in the next one 2 double crochets, 1, 2. So that's 2. We need another 2 more like that. So we have a 1 and a 2, and the last one, a 1 and a 2. The base of the petal, so 1 chain and turn, double crochet into the base of that, 2 half trebles, 1 and 2, 2 trebles in each of the next 2, 1, 1 in the next one, same again, 1 and 1. Now we're going to have a half treble, a half treble in the next one, and a double crochet in the last one. 1 chain turn, double crochet into the base of that stitch, half treble, and then we need 4 trebles. So we have a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4, half treble, and double crochet and fasten off. So that's our 3rd petal done. Now hopefully I have 4 stitches there. I think I might be pushing it. I think I've missed a stitch somewhere. Doesn't matter, we can squeeze it in. So I'm going to start here. Let's get a bit of this yarn out. It's rolling all over. Definitely sew your ends in as you go. It makes life easier. So we have 1 chain and 2 double crochets in the base. Oh, I've caught a little bit of the black yarn. Can you see that? I've caught that. I don't want that, because that's going to get in the way later. It's not going to make it look too pretty if there's bits of black yarn coming through. So here we go. We'll try again. So we have 1 and a 1. Okay. And then 2 in the next one. 1 and a 1. I have a 2. We need 8 stitches. See, I'm catching it now. Watch that. It's because I'm rushing a little bit. I shouldn't rush. I should take my time. And then 1. Did I put 1 in there or 2? I could have put 2 in. Right. So as long as we have 8 stitches along there, the petal's going to work. 1 chain, turn, 1 double crochet in the base, 1 half treble, 1 half treble, 2 trebles in the next one, 2 trebles in the next one, 1 half treble, 1 half treble, 1 double crochet, chain and turn. This is the last bit. We are there. We have a double crochet. We have a half treble, we have 4 trebles now. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, half treble time, and double crochet and fasten off. So that is it. That is our poppy. Now obviously it looks a bit mad like that, but it does turn out like that when we sew those ends in. Basically, obviously with these ends here, I just sewed along down here. Well, I sort of wove it in. Weaved, I was going to say wove. I wove it in down there, and then I also took it along. In fact, I'll show you one that I just did. It might make it a little bit easier. Everybody has their own methods of sewing in the yarn, so you go with whatever feels comfortable for you. But this is how I did it. I decided to take, it's a little bit long there. I decided to take this down this side. So as you can see, I'm just weaving it in, not doing anything special. Apart from getting it tangled, there you go. And then I'm just going to take it along the bottom. And make sure I pull it all through. And trim it off. That's it. Nothing more than that. So you can see how then the petal looks much neater without all the bits of yarn sticking out of it. Now the actual central one, I think I'm losing my voice a little bit today. This central one I used to actually sew my button on. So I pushed it through, sewed my button on, and then again I have left that long. I'm still not sure whether I'm going to use a black sewing cotton, let's stick into that again, to sew this on, or whether the yarn might be okay to sort of stitch it on, because I like to go through these holes sort of all on one side and then all on the other side. Some people do like to hot glue them on. You can put it on however you're used to doing it. You sort of have a play around with it. I prefer to stitch, because if someone's taking it on and off their clothing, if it's hot glued or anything like that, there's a good chance it could come off, and then obviously they can't use it. So this is our poppy. Very simple, quick and easy, especially if you are going to be making them for the poppy appeal or selling them to friends for donations, things like that. You need something that's nice and quick. As I say, it does flatten out a bit when you've done it. It's just that until all the ends are sewn in, it doesn't do that. Let's actually have a look at sewing this back in. I don't know, where's my needle gone? I've lost my needle. I did have a needle, guys, didn't I? Because I've just sewn something in. It's there. It's there. So let's just see whether the yarn would do it. It might not. I might need to use some black sewing cotton, because this yarn doesn't want to go through this needle the best of times. I like quite a fine point on my needle, so it means the eye of the needle is usually a little bit small, really. So let's have a look at this. Right, so I've opened it up. I'm going to lay it approximately where I want, so it just doesn't really matter. It just depends on how you'd like your poppy to sit. But when you pop it on your clothes, you'd move it anyway. My pussycat is crying to come in now. So I'm going to go in there. I think this might be a little bit thick. So I've gone over that one. Then I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to go in the other side as well to make it nice and secure. Actually, no, that's not too bad. Just thread it along to the next hole. So I'm going to take it in. I'm going to have to let her in a minute. I don't mind, but I shut the door. She's okay. Excuse me. She's okay to be in here, but the problem being is I shut the door and then she wants to go back out again. So I'll push it through. Yeah, I think the yarn's actually going to be a good way of sewing it on, because it's nice and solid. It's not going to go anywhere when it's sewn on with yarn. And I think it looks quite neat as well doing it this way. So over to the other hole. Careful of that pin, which is a little bit sharp. So 1 and 2. I don't know whether you can hear her meowing. I know on something I did earlier you could hear her, so you might be able to hear her. And the last bit, and then I'm just going to sort of make a little knot, just like when if you were finishing off your work. And then I'm going to thread it back through some of this black yarn. And there we go, the back is sewn on. So yes, it does work with the yarn. It's just a case of having a nice sharp needle to actually do it as well. But I think that looks quite neat like that. So yes, I would recommend sewing. If you don't want to do it that way, just use some sewing cotton. So I've now actually got my little brooch sewn on there. I think for me wearing one, I think I'm actually going to take this one off and put it on this one, because I like this button. So for my personal wear, I'm going to do that and change my buttons over, or I might actually just do it on this one. I don't know, because the thing is now, if I cut that button off, that's going to come off, because I didn't do it separate today. Now, obviously, you know, if you're going to be wearing it just for yourself, it'd be nice if you just pop a couple of pound in that poppy appeal tin when you see it. It's something we always do. My husband always collects the poppies for each year, and he did a walk for them last year, so it is something sort of we are sort of relatively involved with. So yeah, I will be wearing my poppy, but I will also be popping some money in the tin. Our local Tesco usually has somebody stood at the doorway doing it, so we will do that anyway. So that is it, a nice quick and easy poppy. I hope you like it. I mean, even if it wasn't for, I mean, if you make your Remembrance Sunday one, it's still a handy pattern to use for later if you want to make in poppies or just a basic flower for things. I think it works out quite nicely. So thank you so much for watching. Please go over and have a look at the websites that I've linked below, and please support the charity, and I will see you all very soon with another crochet pattern. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoy my channel, please like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye bye for now.